Hello, everyone, and welcome to Abdulhak English Farm, your go-to podcast for learning English in a fun and practical way. I'm your host, Abdulhak, and I am so excited to have you here with me today. Whether you're a beginner looking to build your confidence or an advanced learner polishing your skills, this is the place for you. Each episode is designed to help you improve your English through real conversations, useful tips, and engaging stories. Today's episode is all about learning English easily. So grab a notebook, sit back, and let's get started.
Hi everyone, and welcome to English Made Simple. I'm Lisa, your host, and today we're talking about the power of listening in learning English. Joining me is John, an experienced English teacher. Welcome, John.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm thrilled to be here. Listening is a topic I'm deeply passionate about because it's so fundamental to learning any language. It's the skill that sets the foundation for everything else: speaking, reading, and even writing. When learners dedicate time to listening, they're not just learning words and phrases. They're absorbing the rhythm, flow, and nuances of the language. That's why it's so powerful.
Why is listening important?
Listening is critical because it's the primary way we learn languages as children. Think about it. Before we ever say a word, we spend months, even years, just listening. It's how we understand how words fit together, how emotions are expressed, and how conversations flow. For English learners, listening helps develop a natural sense of grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation without even realizing it. Plus, it's one of the best ways to improve speaking skills because it allows you to hear and internalize how native speakers talk.
Why do learners avoid it?
Many learners avoid listening because it feels overwhelming. They might think, "I don't understand anything," and that can be discouraging. Listening also requires patience. You don't always see immediate progress, unlike when you're practicing speaking or writing. Another reason is that it's easy to think of listening as passive, but in reality, it's an active skill. You need to focus and engage with what you're hearing, which can be challenging at first. But once learners realize how much they're absorbing, they often find it much more rewarding.
How can they improve?
There are so many ways to improve. First, start with material that matches your level. For beginners, podcasts or videos designed for learners are ideal. They're slower and use simple language. As you get better, move on to authentic content like TV shows, movies, or even YouTube channels. Second, practice active listening. This means listening with a purpose, focus on understanding the main idea, noticing new vocabulary, or paying attention to pronunciation. For example, you can listen to a short clip, pause it, write down key phrases, and then replay it to mimic the speaker. Finally, make listening a daily habit. It doesn't have to be long, just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference over time. And the best part is, you can listen while doing other tasks like cooking, exercising, or commuting.
Can listening help speaking?
Absolutely. Listening and speaking are closely connected. When you listen regularly, you're training your ear to pick up on how words are pronounced, how sentences are structured, and how emotions are conveyed through tone. This helps you sound more natural when you speak. For example, if you listen to native speakers saying phrases like, "How's it going?" or "What's up?" you'll not only understand the meaning, but also learn the informal tone and rhythm. Then, when you use these phrases in conversation, they'll sound more authentic. It's like learning to play an instrument. You need to listen to the music before you can play it well.
What about resources?
There are so many amazing resources out there. For podcasts, I recommend the English We Speak from the BBC or ESL Pod. These are short and focus on practical, everyday language. For movies or shows, use subtitles at first. Watch the same scene twice, once with subtitles, once without. Audiobooks are another fantastic option because you can follow along with the text while listening. Apps like Duolingo or LingQ also have listening exercises tailored to your level. And don't forget YouTube. There are channels like English Addict with Mr. Steve or BBC Learning English that are perfect for practice.
Final advice.
Sure. My final piece of advice is to be patient with yourself and stay consistent. Language learning is a journey, not a race. It's easy to get discouraged when you feel like you're not improving as quickly as you'd like, but that's totally normal. The most important thing is to keep going, even on the days when it feels tough. One thing that really helps is making listening a daily habit. You don't need to spend hours at a time. Just 10 to 15 minutes every day can make a big difference over the long term. And make sure you're enjoying the process. If you're listening to something you're passionate about, like a podcast about travel, food, or music, you'll be more motivated and it won't feel like a chore. In fact, the more you enjoy it, the more you'll stick with it. And don't worry if you don't understand everything right away. You're not meant to get every single word on the first listen. Think of listening like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger that muscle gets. At first, it might feel like you're missing a lot, but over time, you'll start noticing patterns and your brain will naturally begin to fill in the gaps. It's also important to vary your listening practice. Try different types of content, podcasts, TV shows, movies, songs, or even audiobooks. Each form of media will expose you to different vocabulary, accents, and speaking styles, which is incredibly beneficial for your learning. And don't forget to use subtitles or transcripts in the beginning if you need to. They can help you make connections between what you hear and what you see written down. Lastly, one of the best ways to improve listening is by practicing with others. Whether it's through language exchange, group discussions, or listening to friends and colleagues, engaging in conversations gives you a real-life opportunity to apply what you've learned. You'll get instant feedback and be able to practice your listening in a dynamic way. Remember, language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. So take your time, stay curious, and enjoy the process. With consistent practice, listening will become second nature, and you'll start seeing results in all areas of your English skills. Keep going, and you'll get there.
Thank you so much, John. This has been incredibly insightful.
Thank you, Lisa. It's been a pleasure to share these tips with your listeners.
And to our audience, don't forget to check out the show notes for links to all the resources we mentioned. Keep listening, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode of English Made Simple. Bye for now.